Hello? Steve and Jeremiah never came into the studio. I hope they're okay. I wonder where they could be.
Welcome back to another episode of the Steebee Weebee Show. We have a very special guest tonight. Please welcome for the second time on the podcast, comedian Gabby Lamb. Thanks for coming. Second time.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
Yeah. Did you have fun the first time?
I had a wild time the first time. Do you remember the first time?
I do. It is because I do this on a weekly basis. I just remember we had fun and we talked about Oceanside. I remember Oceanside. I remember Oceanside, right?
Yeah.
Big time. And then I talked about Poway.
You're from Poway.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's coming back.
Did you? I don't. This just popped in my head. Because I follow every Insta stories.
Yeah.
Was there was like this particular man who like you knew who lived in a parking lot. He drove a.
Yeah.
Like, that's like
the one who died.
Yeah. Like what happened?
Yeah.
Like what was that all about?
Did we?
I don't think we brought this up
before.
Before. No, but I thought,
You're
that's
curious.
a crazy story.
It is it was wild. It was like a saga for a long time. There was this guy that lived across the street from me in a parking lot in his car. He was gang affiliated. He told me that his name was,
that I didn't know.
He was gang affiliated. His name was Lucifer. That's what he told me.
His name was Lucifer.
That's
gnarly.
His
name was Lucifer?
That's what he told me his name was. I told him it wasn't, but he was like, no, it is. And I was like, I know it's not.
Okay.
And then, so we had this friendship.
You'd walk by, go to the store. Hey, how
and
you doing,
he would be
Lucifer?
out smoking meth, and he was always smoking meth, and he'd offer me it. I'm not just making that up. He'd be like, "Do you want some?" And I'd be like, "No, I'm good. It's a Wednesday morning. It's 8. I'm good."
Yeah.
But that was the vibe. He was very friendly. Loved him. He'd always be like, "I can fix your tattoos," and I was like, "I don't want that. I don't need that."
Right.
It's okay. And then a couple of months ago, somebody was shot in the parking lot. And it turned out it was him indeed, and he did die.
Now, was that gang affiliated, or
Probably?
Was that...
I would assume
right.
so.
So he was in just a local San Diego like Latino gang or something.
No, this was L.A.
Oh, this is L.A.
Yeah, this is across the street from my apartment now.
Oh, this is
my current apartment. Yeah,
in L.A. Okay, that makes more sense. No, because there are gangs in San Diego. That's why I was.
There are big gangs in San Diego.
Yeah, but this was L.A.
This was right over here. It's Los Feliz.
So would you say I don't know much about that whole topic? I just know
about gangs?
I know the main ones like 18. I've heard the major ones.
Uh-huh.
But would you say that's like more major league, like a LA gang versus like a San Diego local?
I don't.
Or is it all a kind of?
I don't know.
Similar. I don't know.
I don't know either. But
yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
He sure did die. Yeah, he died.
That's so sad.
I know. The car was lit on fire a couple months ago.
They threw like a Molotov cocktail on it?
I went out. There was like a big fire in the parking lot, and then I went back there, and it was his car completely lit on fire.
Did he have family?
No, he
was all alone, huh?
He was all alone. It seemed like his mom was still alive. I think because we had like brief talks about her, but yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Are you still sober as well?
Yeah, big time. So when I came here,
let's segue into something positive. I'm sorry. Okay. So rest in peace. Hold up. Rest in peace, Lucifer. Rest in peace, Lucifer.
So we started there. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry for starting there.
It's fine.
Okay. But listen, we're moving on to positivity now.
Yeah, we sure are.
So you're still sober.
I'm sober, and
didn't we talk about it here?
Okay, yeah, because get this, the first time I did your podcast, I was wickedly fucking hungover. I was so hungover. I hadn't met you before, and I was like, fuck, I'm so hungover. I have to go like talk to somebody right now. I'm not gonna be good at this. And then you were like, you should maybe go to a meeting. And then a few months later, I was at a meeting.
That's so crazy.
And now I'm sober.
How much time do you have now? It's been a couple years, hasn't it?
A year, 5 months. A year and 5 months. We did it. Saw my sponsor this morning.
Wow. So let me ask you this. Has your life changed like in a positive way since that decision?
I think so. Definitely, but also I got sober right before the pandemic.
Right.
So it was like a weird
So you had to do
time.
the Zoom meetings and all that.
I
Yeah,
had like
yeah,
so I got sober in January. We shut down in March.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So January, February, I had like 2 full months out in the world, and then the
Wow.
rest of it was just in lockdown.
So you're doing it.
Yeah, yeah,
I saw you in Los Feliz. Do you remember, like near New Hampshire? Like
yeah.
I
I'm always
saw.
around
Yeah, that was like one of your first meetings. And,
Yeah.
and you showed up, and
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, what's up? You showed
Okay,
up.
because I didn't want to out you and say that
Yeah,
I
no,
saw
no,
you at a
no,
meeting,
no,
so
you're
we can
good,
talk about
yeah,
that. Yeah,
yeah.
I saw you at like one of the first meetings I went to,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you told me on this podcast, you were like, or afterwards, you were like, I know this meeting, you should go to it,
And
and
you
then I
showed-
went to
that's
it,
the one.
and you were there. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so crazy.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So did your what does your mom think about, like, is she hyped on like you doing this?
on sobriety, she wasn't at first. At first, she was like, "Oh, this is just a phase," like, "Oh, whatever." And then I was like, "No, really." And then a few months later, she was like, "Oh, I'm actually really proud of you." And I was, because she's also an alcoholic, so she like didn't want to, it was like
right.
she didn't want to like acknowledge it. And then once I was like, no, this is like making my life better, she was like, okay, good.
And usually with something like that, like, because, back in the day, my brother tried to get me sober so many times.
Yeah.
It usually doesn't work that way.
It doesn't
It's
work that
usually
way.
like, if I see, like, someone setting an example, like, oh, look at that person's life.
Yeah.
Oh, they're doing this now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how I did it.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, I was just sick of, like, the
Mhm.
I hated throwing up and, like, the hangovers
Always.
and all that.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was your thing, so it was mostly drinking? Because my thing was
Drinking.
weed, too, as well.
I never got into weed. Fucking hated weed. And I never was a weed head. I was drinking and then started getting really into coke. But I took a lot of Adderall, so I was always like on Adderall and then like drinking, and then would like go do coke on the weekends.
And then you were able to do comedy that way too as well?
Mm-mm. No, I wasn't. I would get really fucked up as soon as I got off stage.
Right.
Then I would spend the
we
whole
talked
day.
about that.
Mm-hmm. I would never drink before I got on stage, but then I would get fucked up afterwards, spend the whole day hungover, and then like be okay by the night so I could go do comedy and then
Yeah.
drink again.
Now, this is a probably good segue. Like, how has your comedy changed since, like, you cleaning up your act? Like, are you writing more? Are you doing more? Because you
gotten
just do a
worse.
show in San Diego
Yeah.
with Harper? You guys all did a show, right?
We did, yeah. We were there over the weekend. I did ACC.
What's
and then
ACC?
American Comedy Club.
Okay,
a
that's
company.
in San Diego.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
So I did that. I like headline for 30 minutes. It was hard, and then the next night I had a show. I was in San Diego all weekend.
That's cool.
I don't know. It's been hard because we've been in fucking quarantine for the past year, so I haven't been able to like get my reps in.
Right. As far as your comedy reps, like the mics and everything.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because you're
it's-
used to doing it every night, aren't you? Like
Yeah.
the open mics and
and all
all
of
that.
shows, everything, and now it was just like now it's not. So I came back into it sober, but also having not worked on comedy for a year, so I feel like I'm more grounded in stand up, but also kind of bad because I'm fucking like my confidence is kind of rock because I'm like,
Well, don't you think all the other comedians are feeling that too? I know.
probably.
Yeah. Even the
Yeah.
ones that have been doing longer, they're probably like, oh,
Yeah.
because they're used to like going like, because the comedy store at the OR or something, they're used to doing it every night.
Yeah.
Well, that's with anything. If you
And then,
stop,
then you fucking get back, and then I like don't feel connected to the shit that I used to talk about on stage. So it's like a weird place to be.
Yeah, I always wonder how that worked. Like, do you need that interaction, like just the energy exchange from the audience member, or as far as when you're doing your bits? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you
I
need
do.
that.
I like interacting with people.
It's different than doing a Zoom.
It sure
show.
is. Zoom shows you're fucking bombing all the time.
Aren't they? Is that weird? Like,
Have you ever watched one?
No, I haven't.
Good. Don't. I think thank God they're over. Fuck.
what is that? So they're in their room. Are they like just like in their pajamas?
You're a fucking jackass. You're sitting in your bed like eating, and you have your laptop right here,
and you're
just
reading off your jokes?
Yeah,
or
you're just kind
something?
of sitting there like, "Hey guys, what's up? How's everyone doing?" And you can't hear anybody because everybody's muted, so you're just talking to nobody, and you're like, "Okay."
So,
and you say a joke.
so would
and-
you be performing? How do you get audience members? So you're performing for other comedians?
and audience members, people
on
tune in.
mute, on mute.
Yes.
So they're just looking at you.
Desperate people
and
who
you're
want
just
to,
like,
yeah,
hey guys.
sitting in your bed. You know, like my fucking cats are jumping up on there, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Hey, how's this bit?" And it's awful. It was awful.
So you mentioned earlier. So you and Harper, You all are roommates?
We're roommates, yeah.
How did you all link up? I'm just curious.
Stand up.
Through the community?
We met in stand up, yeah. We didn't really know each other before we lived together, but I knew she was looking for a place and I needed a roommate. And so then we became really close during that.
Like she's been to your house in Oceanside, like your
She
your
has
mom's,
now, yeah.
She's been there.
Yeah.
So you guys are like best friend? Like are you guys real close?
We're real close, yeah.
And
real
who's
close.
been doing comedy longer, you or her?
Me, a year longer. She's 5. I think I'm 6. I'll be 6 in July.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've come along, don't you think? You've come along.
Yes.
Yeah, don't you think?
Yeah. I don't know if I'm funnier, but I've definitely come a long way.
Yeah.
I just got off a streak of bombing.
Still, you do that?
I still do.
You do?
Yeah.
I thought after like maybe 3 or 4
don't.
years.
Well, if they do, I don't.
Okay.
I'm a special case.
How do you like? How do you deal with that? Like, how do you
knowing that I'm worse than
internalize
all
that?
of my
Yeah.
peers?
How do you work past that?
I try to not relapse or commit suicide, and I just keep going. You know.
Are you in your head a lot? Like
So bad.
the demons in your head.
Real bad. Real loud.
Now, is that mostly due to like the crowd or the way you're feeling? Like,
Probably me.
isn't it off every night though? It's a different like situation.
Am I
right?
off every night?
No. The scenario, the situation's different. Like,
It is, yeah.
because I'm just guessing. Let's use music for example.
Yeah.
Like, if your band performs in front of 5 people, opposed to doing a festival, that's
Right.
different.
It sure is, yeah.
So same thing with comedy. You got 3
Right.
people opposed to like 50 people.
Yeah.
You have more people to gauge, right?
You do, but the worst is when you have like 50 and you really don't do well in the 50,
Ooh,
which is
that's happened.
happened to me the other night.
Was it an open mic or was it
It
a
was a
comedy
show.
It was a show.
It was at Madhouse in San Diego.
It was a show.
It was a show.
So how many people were on the line? Like how many headliners? How many like
I was
comics?
the headliner,
Oh, so you're the headliner.
and there were like 5 comics before me.
And how long of how does that usually work? They get 5-10 minutes on stage. How does that work?
They get 10 minutes, 5 to 10. I had 25.
You had 25.
Started hot and then just ate shit.
Really? That's interesting. Because you would
bad.
think if you start good, you're good.
You'd
right?
think.
Like if you're like in
But
a
I'm-
band and you're like,
yeah.
oh, you're cheering. I'm
Uh-huh.
good.
No, not with me. I say I'm starting good. I'm gonna bring them down, and that's what I did.
Do you think it's worse bombing as a musical act or a comedy act?
Comedy, for
Because
sure.
Because there's silence.
There's silence. Yeah, when you're doing music, you have a whole fucking band, and you can't really bomb. The only people who know that you bomb musically are the musicians, I think.
Well, the band I was in, Monchi, we got brought to Hawaii. We opened for Die Antwoord.
Did you bomb?
Yeah.
How?
Well, because
What do you mean? How do
Well,
you bomb though?
their fans are crazy, and they were like,
Oh,
do you know
God.
much about that band?
No, because when you said that, I was thinking of fucking Jack Black's band. What's his band?
What's Jack Black's band?
Tenacious D.
Tenacious D.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, you were talking about Diane.
I'm Die Antwoord. They're from South
they
Africa.
sure are.
Ninja, and then Yolandi.
I was
Yeah.
thinking Tenacious D. but
Because I heard Pockets of Booze. Like we started off. They were actually when you're the opening band.
Yeah.
They're like not there to see you.
yeah, they don't want to see
They're
you.
like,
"Come
who
on,
are
go,
these
go, go."
guys?
Yeah.
So I as we went on, it was like, boo, boo. You know, just like as the show progressed, and then more pockets. Like at first, I was like trying to justify. I was in denial. I'm like, they're not.
They couldn't do that.
And then they're like, boo, boo. You know, like pockets. I heard it here. I heard it there. Where we had to cut our set short.
How long were you on stage for?
Let me see. Okay, that's a good question. Opening. We probably did about 4 or 5 songs, if that.
They were booing the whole time.
It started maybe after the first song.
Fuck.
And you know, this is that movie Mad Max Fury Road had just dropped or
Okay.
something. And have you seen that movie?
Nope.
Well, there's a scene where like there's these characters with they're like suicide bombers, like, you know, and they before they would die, they'd go like, I guess they referred to heaven as Valhalla or something, back to Valhalla, but they would spray this silver spray paint all over their face. It was like symbolic. They go shh. We had food coloring gray spray paint like the movie Mad Max. So I had that on stage, and every time I'd hear a boo, I would just look at him and go shh, and I would spray my face to like make it crazier. Like it
It's like you just start acting out
I
more
would
and
act
more.
like more like childish,
Okay,
like
that's
defiant,
what I,
like
yes.
shh,
I do that. That's what I
shh,
yeah.
like,
I'll fucking show
yeah,
you.
yeah. It was
Yeah.
more symbolic. Like, it was crazy because they probably thought it was spray paint.
Yeah.
So I was like, shh, shh.
Were they into that?
No, it was just the booze got loud. Yeah,
It
they were
just-
like, get, you know.
Yeah, please.
So, are you defiant as well? It's like,
I do-
let's
I
say
am.
you start strong and then you start bombing. Like, what are you going through mentally? Like,
So like what you were doing physically with the pain in your
Physically,
face is
yeah.
what I would do, but with verbally. So
wait. So you would do that to the crowd, like to certain audience members?
Yeah, the other night I was like, I started turning on myself because I wasn't getting, the response that I wanted. And then I started being, I always just go into like really self-deprecating where I'm like, well, fuck me. I guess you guys fucking hate me, huh? Okay, well, and then I just like went in and then I was like, well, what do you guys, what should I talk about? And they were like, we don't know. And I was like,
So it was a bit
Yeah.
of crowd. It was kind of like crowd work.
but really bad crowd work after bits that didn't work. And then I was like, what should I talk about? And they're like, we don't fucking care. And I was like, and then I just kept being like, I'll relapse. And some guy was like, don't relapse. And I was like, I'm gonna. And then I
You took it there. You put your sobriety
I
on the
did.
line.
I said, I will fucking relapse right now. And he's like, come on, don't. And then nobody was laughing. And I was just up there being like, I'll relapse. And it was
oh my god.
yeah.
Okay, so that had happened, all right? Because you're only
Yeah.
human. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, it sure does. Well,
When you
but
wa-
according to you, not to my peers are ahead of me now.
No.
No, because you were like, you should be past that stage. You're 6
No.
years in.
That was speculation. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That should be, you're right.
I took a crack at it. And I bombed too on doing comedy.
Yeah, it's hard.
Doing my cowboy rap bit. But
That sounds good.
so when you exit the stage when that happens, is your brain going through, because this is what happened to me, because I bombed at the Tempe Improv and I was justifying
Doing
in
stand-up?
denial. Yeah. And my mind was like, these are the thoughts that were going through my head. Like, you didn't do that bad.
Really?
Yeah. I really bombed bad
Really?
where they had to cut me out of the other shows.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And not only that, so I
Not only that.
but the MC had to like save me. Like the MC had to like, yeah, to like.
I love that you were like, oh, but it wasn't that bad.
Well, this is why I brought it
Okay,
up, because
okay.
I wanted to know what people go through. Like my brain was like, I think it was a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
Where it's like, no,
Yeah.
that material was just maybe too advanced for them.
I've gone through that where I'm like, they're just
no,
not on
yeah,
my
because
level.
no one's doing this cowboy rap stuff, and so my brain was like, yeah, no, they don't get it. My thing's too advanced.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
you know how that club's set up, because I used to work there, by the
So
way, and I started
funny.
off the set like that. Because I was a food
You'd be like,
runner.
"I work here."
Well, when I went to ASU, I was a food runner at the Tempe Improv.
Okay.
Ended up getting fired from that.
Okay.
So right
For
when I
the
got on
bit?
stage, I go, I used to work in this piece of shit. I was a food runner. Look at me now. You know, like I started off already on a bad note. Like braggadocious, unlikable.
Spitting in people's food when you get up there.
No, I never did. I've never done that.
Okay.
But I've actually, when I worked at IHOP, I used to like, I was a horrible
No.
waiter. Yeah, I'd have my thumb in their egg yolk. I would just be like,
Like
here you go.
On purpose?
Yeah, because like I would just get stiffed. I'd work the
Yeah.
graveyard shift, and I would just, here you go. You know,
Oh,
just
God.
like
Would
throw-
people complain?
I mean, I got fired from that job too.
Yeah, okay.
But anyway, I didn't
That's
want to lose
IHOP.
my train of thought. So I had to walk through the crowd off stage because the green room was in the front. But I remember I was like I was trying to gauge the audience.
When you walked off stage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even look at me.
That's the worst.
So that's when my brain flipped
yeah.
like, oh, they don't like you.
Yeah.
You really did bomb.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what are you going through like when that happened to you? Are you thinking these things?
That's so bad. Yeah. I've had that a lot of times when I walk off stage and I'm like, I can't make eye contact. Like there will be times where I get off stage and I don't want to see anybody that was in the room.
But you're gauging the crowd too afterwards.
Yeah, and I'll walk off
You're
stage.
gauging it.
I am, and I'll
You're
walk
feeling
off and
it out.
I'll see them like kind of not look at me, and I'm like,
See that face you're doing?
it's horrible. The other night I got off stage and I just like kind of like
So
slumped
you're looking
over,
at the ground?
looking at the ground and just like shaking my head to let them know that I know how bad I did. You know?
Do you think from the audience point of view, they're doing something like telepathy to let you know, like,
Yeah.
oh, you failed?
Yeah.
Do you think that's what's going on?
It's
too?
almost like they're all in a group text and they're all texting each other saying, fuck this bitch. They all are. They're all airdropping.
So you're feeling that?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
I think you're not too far off. I think that no, because it's energy, right? I mean, whether you do good or bad, it's energy, right?
Yeah.
In this room,
Yeah.
and you could feel that.
You can really feel that. I am really hard on myself, so sometimes
But that's a good thing, don't you think?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because like I'll like have a set that I didn't think was good, and then like my friends will be like, "That was actually good. What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "No, it wasn't." And they're like, "So you had a couple things that didn't work, but it was good." And I'm like, "No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't." So I have a hard time always gauging, but like that the other night I was like, that was bad.
Have you always been hard on yourself like that?
Yeah, definitely.
But don't you think that's what makes you good?
Maybe, but I have to get out of my head too, because then I start getting really in my own way, where it's like, if I don't do well, then I just start going in on like, well, you're a piece of fucking shit and you'll never be funny and nobody will ever like you. And then I start believing that.
Yeah.
So that's where I have to be careful.
Can I give you, I just thought of this, and because this it kind of pertains to what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Don't you think because alcoholism like centers in your mind? It's
Yeah.
your thinking.
Absolutely.
That doesn't help.
No, it doesn't.
I think maybe it's some of that
Yeah.
within that too, as far as
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm a piece of crap.
Yeah.
Oh, I failed. You know what I mean? Because I'll get that tonight, just like
Yeah.
just for no reason.
Yeah.
you know?
Absolutely. I wake up and I have
In fact,
that.
anything I do, whether
Yeah.
it's a podcast or if I do a song, whatever I do that's
Yeah.
creative outlet, it's never positive.
Never.
Even though it might be positive, like, no, it was fine.
Yeah.
I always find this is the thing. What we have a problem with perception.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
the way, like, let's say this whole thing is white, the ceiling, but we'll find that one spot and be like, oh no, this is all fine. No, but look at that.
Right.
There's something wrong with
Yeah,
that. I see
yeah,
see that spot there.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
And I don't know if you do this, but I definitely do this where I will like call attention to that right away. So like other people can't see it, like, or so other people can't identify it first. Like,
Wait. Why do you think that's psychological, right? Like, to beat them to the punch, like
beat them to the punch. Exactly.
They can't use that against you.
Right. So like, if you walked into this room and there was like one little dirt spot,
You're like,
I'd be like, if I lived here and somebody new came in, I'd be like, oh, look at the fucking dirt spot. I'm so
that's
sorry about that dirt
interesting.
spot. Like to call it out before they can see it.
that's interesting.
So I can beat them to be like, no, I'm a piece of shit before you could call me a piece of shit. So don't worry.
Right, that's what it is.
That's what it is.
That's interesting.
And I start doing that on stage. I'll be like, I know I'm a piece of shit, so you guys probably know it too, right? Yeah, we all know. Fuck me, right? And I like get really bad.
Yeah, but it's a funny thing too, because what y'all are doing is like it's you're artists through your words and like conveying, your thoughts, and it's like if you're beating them to the punch, you're probably like, it's interesting because you're like, does that even need to happen?
It doesn't, because like as a stand-up too, like when you're on stage, you have the capacity. You're able to control the way that a crowd sees you.
So you're the conductor.
You're the conductor,
You're
but
the
when you
conductor.
start calling yourself a piece of shit,
Well, why?
other people are like, yeah,
Well, the
I
thing
guess
is,
so.
That's not necessary, though, right?
It's not necessary.
But how do you like? This is interesting. How do you correct that?
I don't know.
Because like this is another side of the coin. It's like if you don't acknowledge that, then it could flip on you. It'll be in your head like, the whole time you're trying to do your set, you're like, oh, I didn't bring that up. Maybe is that what they're thinking now since I didn't bring that up?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Big
You're like,
time.
I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here as far as like the
Yeah.
psychology behind it. It's so weird.
I know, it's so weird. Is that like
Yeah.
an alcoholic thing?
I think
Or is
no,
it like a
I'm not
human
saying I'm
thing?
not saying it's entirely because of that, but
Yeah.
it's a factor. I
Yeah.
for sure think it's a factor.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah. It's interesting too because I feel like that I've always had pretty low self-esteem, but like
Yeah, me too.
and the more sober I've gotten,
yeah,
it's like I've like my self-esteem has gotten higher in a way, but also the demons have gotten louder. So now it's like more obvious to me. I'm like, fuck, I really have to deal with this.
You know what's interesting too? It's like even when you podcast, like we're podcasting, but I notice I do this too. I'm like self-deprecating, like,
Oh yeah.
but like where I'm so hard, like I like where your like worst enemy would never say those like.
Yeah.
I say detailed messed up things about
Yeah.
myself, like my body and just my hygiene and
Yeah.
my breath and
Oh, me too. Oh, always. Yeah.
like 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 I'll give you an example. I was just on King of the Sting, and they were trying to do a dating show for me, and where people submitted, like females would submit like their submissions and be like, "Hi,
Yeah.
And I was so self-deprecating. I didn't even give it a chance.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like you were
Like I said, like I talked about how I don't have a car, how around here's poo breath,
oh,
about my
God.
scrotum. It's just like a whole bunch, just all the things that like, dude, like what, like if this was like a dating show, like
Yeah.
let's say this was
You
televised,
really undersold
they would
yourself.
kick me off and be like,
Yeah.
yeah, just X him off the list.
Yeah.
Like, where did you find this guy?
Yeah, I can so relate to that.
But
though.
what
That's-
is that? Why do
I do the same thing.
But why do I do? Why?
I don't know. I do the same fucking thing. Low self-esteem. You try to beat him to the punch. I do the same thing when I date guys. I'm always like, before I sleep with them, I'm like, oh, well, just to let you know, I'm pretty flat-chested, so if you like big tits, I'm not your girl. Like, I
You
will,
do that stuff?
Yes, and I will shit on myself. Like, I'm sorry if I smell. And they're like, stop, relax. And I can never like enjoy myself intimately because I'm always just like, if you see a pimple on my back, it's because I'm a dirty bitch. Like, you know.
Oh my God.
I beat him to the punch. And
No,
people
like
aren't even thinking
because
that.
I was not always like that.
Yeah.
Like.
Oh,
just,
really?
Just think of your childhood. Like you weren't. I don't think I was that self-deprecating.
Yeah. So
I would think
happened?
in that scenario, other kids were
Yeah.
more cruel to you, like to us.
Yeah.
They would say, they would do something, and like Chinese, Japanese, dirtiness. Look at these,
yeah.
And I'm like,
that
oh,
classic. Yeah.
And then I would internalize that, but I wouldn't do that to myself.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't that be weird? That's like a kid doing that to themselves.
Yeah, kids don't do that to themselves. But then
But I'm sure some of them do.
not, but I didn't, maybe.
I'm
But
just
it's like you
wondering
get
where
older-
is that learned behavior? I'm just wondering where that stems from. Like,
Yeah.
did I learn that through like living and just
Yeah.
through experience? Like, when did?
Yeah.
Because we're adults now, and I do it worse than I've ever have in my whole
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, me too.
Where I'm like, you're shooting yourself in both feet
All the
Your
time.
right foot and your left foot. there.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I even I don't like that I do that.
I know. And me either. It's really bad, but I feel like it is a learned behavior. It's like you hear all these things as a kid and like something like kind of negative happens to you and then you grow up and it like starts coming back out and you're like, "Oh, fuck, here come the demons."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's a fine line. Okay, let's take the flip side of that. Let's
Yeah.
say you're braggadocious and like full of yourselves. Like, yeah, ladies.
like
you
a
know,
narcissist.
Yeah, I'm gonna move to a condo soon.
Yeah.
Let's say you don't want to be that guy either.
No,
like,
well
yeah.
that's a fucking full blown narcissist.
Yeah, I just bought a Tesla and
Yeah.
got big things going on.
Yeah. Big dick.
Can
huge house.
can you be not the self-deprecating guy and not the braggadocious guy, but can I at least give myself be in the middle?
I think there are normal people I think there are people that get to the middle.
That's the normal response.
Yeah,
right?
there
Like,
are people that are well adjusted that can get there.
So you're saying we're not well adjusted?
Maybe not right now, but I think it can happen.
You just basically
Said that we're
now
not
now
well.
I'm internalizing that. You just like well
Fuck.
well
So,
adjusted like
whatever-
that because
yeah.
you're throwing me into that box as well because
Well, you're throwing yourself into that
I
box.
know I am. I see. I was deflecting.
Yeah.
Okay, I threw myself in the box.
So I'm just picking up on what you're saying, which is you just said you're not the guy in the middle.
Yeah.
So and we're also not the guys in the mansion, so we have to get well adjusted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in your defense,
Uh-huh.
because comedy, being self-deprecating may be a part of your act, right? Would you at
Yeah.
least agree?
Yeah.
There's
it
a
is.
lot of, I mean, that's a style of comedy, right?
For
Like,
sure, yeah.
Self-deprecating. So that's, you have that card, be like, well, this is a part of my profession. I'm
Yeah.
supposed to do that.
Yeah.
But you don't have to. There's different styles.
There's
you can do.
there are different. I feel like I could leave that behind, but I'm so married to that because my narrative is so like negative. But when I got sober, my therapist was like, "Do you feel like you're gonna be able to still be funny without talking about without being messy? You know, like do you still?"
You guys talk about stuff like that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's like, is that like one of the major subject matters?
What?
Yeah, as far as therapy.
Yeah.
You're doing recovery. You're doing the meetings
I'm
and
in
therapy.
two 12-step programs and therapy. I'm in all of them.
Oh wow!
I've got all of them.
You're in two of them.
Two of them.
I started doing that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
For porn. Yeah, just watch-
SLAA.
Yeah.
Me too.
No, no. Get the hell.
Big
You,
SLAA.
really?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that program. It's really
So
hard.
I was doing meetings
You
every
said
day.
for porn.
No, but I was doing. Yeah, I was doing meetings every day.
Yeah.
But then I noticed
Wait, AA or SLAA?
both.
Yeah. Okay.
I would like flip flop. I would do
Yeah.
this day. I would, I had a whole schedule. I
I
have
do
the
the same
schedule
thing.
right
I do
there
the
on
same
like
thing,
I-
yeah.
on an index card. I would have the
Yeah.
the different number. You have
Yeah.
to put in the code
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
Zoom
yeah.
meeting. But I noticed that, and this was like my fault. I noticed that I was like dozing off, or I was fixating on like other people in the room. Like, because in the Zoom meetings, there's like boxes.
Yeah.
So, and then I should have just done men's groups.
You should have done men's groups. Yeah.
Because I was doing the co-ed ones, and I was like,
Can't do it.
I was getting obsessed with certain. I was like, oh, look at, in my
Yeah.
mind. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
and
I only
because
do
I'm trying to get
women's.
away from that, but
Mhm.
then I'm like fixating on people in the meeting. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah.
I was looking at stuff in their apartment, like,
Oh, yeah.
oh, she's
Fantasizing.
got a candle, and
Yeah.
and she's got that candle in the
And
corner of
maybe,
her room.
Maybe,
Look at the
maybe we
wallpaper.
could get together and we could talk about candles.
And they would make announcements. I never did this, but even
Yeah.
like the secretary would be like, and we would appreciate it if you guys wouldn't, harass the, or not harass, or message.
Yeah.
Because, there's, on Zoom meetings,
Yeah.
you could send direct, kind of like a direct
Yeah. You can
message.
DM people.
But
Yeah.
people were doing, like, I thought about,
Yeah.
I can't lie. I
Yeah.
did think about it, but there's people already doing that.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
That's
It
why
blew my
I-
mind. I'm
yeah.
like, what? Like,
Well, of course there are.
yeah, because they're
Yeah.
in that for that reason.
Yeah. I go to mostly women's or like women and like gay meetings because I'm like, I can't go to the men's ones. I get too crazy.
If you don't mind me asking, was yours, because mine was like porn addiction?
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, did you?
Am I addicted to porn?
Yeah, was that the reasons behind it?
No.
Oh, yours was like, maybe because of love.
Love, I identify as
Like
sex,
codependent,
love,
like,
fantasy
yeah,
addict.
right.
Mhm.
And you have to identify.
You
some,
do.
Yeah,
So it's like,
yeah.
I'm Gabby. I'm a sex, love, fantasy
Yeah.
addict. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Porn I don't watch anymore because I did start having like a bad relationship with it. So that's been like an easy one to cut out. But the love and fantasy addiction are really
right,
bad.
because a lot of it's in your mind and
Oh,
like the
yeah.
fantasy elements and stuff.
Controls my life.
Yeah. So do you go down the rabbit hole with that? Like you play the
Absolutely.
whole that you play it out like.
And it just and it ruins every relationship of mine because I can't stay present with anything or anybody, and you get into this whole thing of like, oh, but what if over here is better? What if over here is better? And I can never just like
Be in the
be.
moment.
Yeah, I can never be.
Yeah. So have you've taken it to like, oh, this is our honeymoon, and then
Oh,
this is
yeah, immediately.
this is our home
What
by
if I
the
get
coast.
pregnant and that's gonna be our baby? Like immediately I go
So
to like
you
husband,
go with
baby.
you go kids too.
Oh yeah,
I'm sorry.
immediately.
You do.
I meet people and I'm like, could this be a good father? Maybe like immediately I'm sizing people up.
Yeah.
Insanity.
By the way, I didn't mean to switch topics, but like those videos you do about your dad, the Facebook
yeah.
post, are hilarious.
Thank you so much.
Like your dad is a character.
He's wild.
He's on his own planet.
He sure is. He's on his own fucking Facebook.
It's
QAnon
kind of like he
planet.
does bro. It's like
Yeah.
bro-y kind of
Uh-huh.
manscape bro-y kind of comments towards like the female gender. Like
Yeah.
he'll just say ridiculous,
Super
stuff.
misogynistic. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
do you...
yeah, that's what it is.
And then I'll be like, do you know that I'm your daughter? And he's like, oh, come on, it's funny. I'm like,
Oh, you've just give me an example. Like they may not know what we're talking about. Like, can you describe like one of the posts that he might do on his Facebook?
so like he'll post a picture. Usually, he posts pictures of like young women in bikinis with really big tits, like on a motorcycle, and then he'll make the caption like, "I'd ride that one," and he posts that publicly. And then his friends and my uncles will chime in and be like, yeah, vroom, vroom. And I'm like, these are all 70-year-old men. 70-year-old men that all need slaw.
Can you? Because we're trying to save face here for
Yeah.
for the family and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, please. No, it's
Can
okay.
you give him a heads up and text him to let him know, like, Dad,
Yeah.
that's not the right thing to do.
Oh, we've talked about it.
You have.
We sure have.
What's his defense?
It's art. He's literally said to me, it's art.
So, in his mind, somewhere
Uh-huh.
in his mind, he thinks
Yeah.
that's the right thing. This is art.
It's art.
He does memes too.
He does memes, big time memes.
Big time. Dude, give me an example of a meme that.
He posts a lot of like kind of MAGA stuff. He's gone down that rabbit hole. What is one of his classic memes? He posted one the other day.
Doesn't he do like Happy Monday? Like he'll do like a day, like Happy Tuesday or Happy like, and then it'll be like
also
a
like
female.
always kind of racist too. Like Taco Tuesday means, and then like something like butchering
about Latino women or
Spanish.
something like
yeah,
that.
and
Oh
I'm like,
no,
what do you?
He can't do
He
that.
can't. I've had to call him and be like, you cannot post that like that.
He could get banned for that.
But
like,
he doesn't get it. He thinks it's funny, and I'm like, that's not. You really realize like that's not okay. And he's like, oh, well, come on. And I'm like,
we're even more like this is not 1980 or something. We're in a time now where you really have to watch what you say.
He doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. The one
Can
that
your mother contact him and say, listen?
She has tried so many times because my mother.
Tried.
She's very well educated, and she's like a strong feminist, and she comes from her dad was an immigrant, and so she's a very different breed than he is, and he just doesn't get it. He's like, no, that's not true. You guys are wrong. And I'm like, we're not.
So in his mind, it's justified.
It's absolutely justified.
Yeah.
You think? Yeah.
So going back to like these 12 we won't say the names of them or whatever.
And we already did.
Yeah, we did, but we didn't kind of.
Okay.
we did. We maybe, but we're not like promoting.
Yeah.
I noticed that with the porn thing, I was getting desensitized.
Absolutely.
To just normal
Intimacy.
interactions with, and then I noticed that. I would be getting more and more deeper in like these searches.
Yeah.
Where
really.
it was just not like
you start.
They were like just like, why am I typing grandma in? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you start getting darker and darker. Yeah.
Like where I'm like this. That's my thing now. I'm like, oh, older. Grandmother.
That's so fucking funny.
Grandma panties, grandma this, grandma cream pie, grandma grandma
cream pie.
That's like
grandma.
Well, by the way, that is my go-to.
Is it really?
Yeah.
If we looked up your porn, are you watching porn anymore or no? Because you're in recovery.
I kind of fell off the.
Oh, you did. You fell off the.
Because this is I mean, I'm not trying to justify. I'm
no,
not going to deflect here, but I'm going to be honest
judgment.
with you.
Yeah.
I've been sober with the other thing for 12 plus years from drugs and alcohol.
Yeah, just huge.
This other thing is harder.
It's
like,
a million times
way harder. Because I mean, in my defense, also, I made it 3 months without it.
Yeah.
I was doing meetings every day. I had a temporary sponsor.
Yeah.
I was texting men. I was doing the whole thing. But it's one of those things because it is like kind of it's like a biological urge to want to release or do, it just crept up on me.
I know.
It was like it was past a certain time. I might have even done a meeting that day, like that night. I might have attended done a Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
But it just next thing you know, it happened like that.
I know. It's really hard.
I was so shamed because I maybe had talked to my sponsor and I was like, and I thought I was doing good, but then once the aftermath of that, once I did it, I'm like, oh, I'm a piece. It's going back to the voices
and the
like,
shame
what,
spiral.
Like you're it's just pointless. Like there's no hope for you. Like what?
I know, and then you're like, oh fuck it, I'll just go back to whatever I was doing.
Yeah. So maybe I need to start doing it again because I felt I was like I had more energy during the day,
more clarity,
Definitely.
It helps you. I don't know. There's a lot of really beneficial things to that program. The withdrawal period has been the worst I've ever experienced.
Oh yeah,
the worst. I'm still in it. I'm in my 30 days of withdrawal right now, and I've relapsed 1,000 times.
Like, because I know that the internet plays a huge role in that.
Big time.
Like, there are programs to block you for you to go on certain sites.
Yeah.
Like I knew dudes that did that.
My sponsor wants me to be off of social media. Like I'm off Twitter right now.
Well, you mean like Instagram?
Instagram. She wants me off
because you could fall deep in a rabbit hole.
Yeah, you can. And she's had me like go through and like block, people that I've been in relationships with, which was really hard to do. And I'm like, she doesn't really want me on it right now, but I like got sucked back into it because I was in San Diego doing shows, promoting stuff, and then all of a sudden I'm like fucking scrolling and then looking shit up, and it's like.
Did DMs play a factor in that?
They do, but I've been really...
They do and they don't?
They do, because like I'm not supposed to have really any contact with men outside of business right now. So when...
This is...
Yeah.
This is big suggestion from
Yeah.
whoever you're getting help from.
Yeah.
They said you can't contact any men
No.
unless
Unless
has
it's
to
about
do.
business.
This is business.
There's business. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so because of that's a slippery slope.
It is. Especially
Because-
because of stand up, too.
Oh, okay. What about this? I don't want
Uh-huh.
to play devil's advocate because this may happen.
Uh-huh.
What if you're at a comedy show
Mm-hmm.
and a male comic? That's still business. You're doing a show with them, but then
Yeah.
what if there's attraction there?
No flirting, no intrigue. You have to shut it down.
You
It's
shut
really-
it down.
It's really hard. Because when you're addicted to validation, you know,
Oh,
when you're
because
like,
they could validate you, like, great set, girl. Oh,
or even just
we're
talking.
gonna go get
yeah.
some. We're getting food. You want to
Yeah.
come? Because I'm sure that happens
all the time. Yeah, and I have to just be like, no, and because it's like I don't even like these guys, but then it like gives me adrenaline to be like, oh fuck yeah, they're looking at me and they want to have sex with me and they want to talk to me. Yeah, I love this, and I have to like not get into that. You know, I just have to be like, okay, cool, thank you, and then leave.
Can I add a thing that I'm struggling with and I haven't done yet, but
Yeah.
it's definitely like a temptation.
Yeah.
You know, like OnlyFans.
Mm-hmm.
Like now I'm starting to get these where I've never signed up for it.
Mm-hmm.
I already have a big enough problem with just porn.
Yeah.
Right? Like X video, whatever,
Grandma
Pornhub.
cream pies.
But there, yeah, all right, we don't have to emphasize that. Now I'm getting these content creators with the OnlyFans saying, "Hey,
yeah.
I know you're not like into that, but here's a free subscription to my OnlyFans. Like they're basically giving me a pass.
Right.
Like here's a
Fuck.
free thing,
Yeah.
and it's like I just don't think that'd be healthy
Definitely
for me.
not.
Right? I mean,
Definitely not.
'Cause
Are you asking?
no, I'm asking you.
Yeah,
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 I'm
yeah.
like that's not healthy, right? If I
No.
start doing that,
No, not. No.
because now it's like I don't want to bring up these new terminology like
Yeah.
simping or
Yeah.
simp behavior, but that's what it is, right? I'm like, that's simping.
Well, because for that program, in order for recovery, it's like really what they say is like no sex outside of intimate relationships,
Right.
and then like really there is like kind of a thing on like no masturbating, but like that's really fucking hard.
That's
but,
I struggle with that.
yeah, it's really hard. I do too.
I mean, to a point where I don't. This is hard for me to admit,
Yeah.
but it's like no different than me showering.
yeah,
It's a part of my routine.
it's a part of the routine. I
It's
think
part of my sleep routine.
for men, I think it's like harder thing, but I also struggle with that. The porn, honestly, you're like not supposed to watch porn in recovery.
It's not good for your mind, I think.
It's not. It's definitely not. Like scientifically, it's
Because the
proven not to be.
dopamine, it's
yeah.
kind of like, playing video games.
Yeah.
It's that dopamine release, but then
yeah,
even with that, you get
big
desensitized,
time.
and you're like, okay, not just this. Now I have to look up crazier searches.
yeah.
Right?
And then you're not ever enjoying who you're actually having sex with because you're like so desensitized and like thinking about porn. Porn.
That's
fucks
a
with
real
us.
thing.
It's a real thing. Oh yeah.
So you're saying if you're used to that and
Mhm.
being aroused in that way
Yeah.
sexually
Yeah.
through these images
Yeah.
or whether it's pictures or videos,
Yeah.
when you get into a real human sexual experience, you might just not be aroused. Like,
Yeah. I think it happens all the time. I think it happens more. I don't think people talk about it very often, but I think people are so desensitized because we watch so much porn that like we are losing intimacy in our relationships, big time.
Yeah.
People
I
don't
also
talk about
noticed
it.
this with me.
Mm-hmm.
It's taking longer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before there ain't no.
Yeah.
You
You mean when-
can't be on there
yeah.
for 3 hours, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not even
Yeah.
who even has sex for 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless you're like,
A lot of the guys I've dated are sex addicts, and it would take a really long fucking time because I was like, all you're doing is sitting around watching porn and jacking off. That's why it takes you so long to fucking have sex.
so that's a real thing.
It's a very real thing.
And so what's their excuse for once you bring that up? What do they say? What's their
I'll
response?
stop watching porn. I'll stop, and it's like I don't care if the guys I date watch porn, but when it starts like getting in the way of like, because I don't care if they're like looking at other girls jacking off, but like what does bother me is like when it takes so fucking long because you're like watching porn all the time.
Yeah, that's just not a healthy thing.
It's not a healthy thing. It fucks with our brains.
You know what blows my mind? There's certain people out there, as far as, masturbation or
Yeah.
whatever, they could just use their minds.
Yeah.
I haven't done that since like
Have you not?
7th grade or
Really?
8th grade. Yeah, I haven't done that.
Yeah.
That blows my mind. That's
Yeah.
like, well, you could fly to the moon. Like, that's crazy. How do you
Yeah.
do that?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, well, I stopped, and I honestly, not to be too fucking rated X on here, but I really did like stop masturbating a lot when I stopped watching porn because I was just like, oh, what's the fun? I don't want to fucking sit here
so
and think.
that you use that was a part of it.
Oh, big time, yeah.
But I'm telling you, there's
Mhm.
people out there that don't. They could just use their minds.
Oh yeah, for sure there are.
Right.
Yeah,
I think that there's a problem with me. I don't even know how to do that anymore.
because you're desensitized.
But do you think if you were to quit that, you would be able to use that part of your brain to like be aroused?
Yeah.
Let's say if you quit, like say it's been
Yeah.
6 months, right?
Yeah.
You're like, I haven't watched it.
Mhm.
I have blockers on all my social media, on my internet.
Yeah,
I've been doing my thing. I've been talking to people. Do you think that you could regain that
totally.
ability?
Yeah, totally. Our brains are super fucking malleable. I think like once you like start getting into like training it, you become like you can like adjust to that.
Yeah. I need to stop sending these emojis too, like, because it's like, dude, that's not helping me. It's like,
What do you mean?
well, to like just like maybe someone you're attracted to on like Instagram, it's like just in my mind, I think that if I send this emoji,
Like what?
I'm
one?
in. Oh God, like
What one do you think is
I use the celebration one a lot.
to do what? Say, hey
I
girl.
see. You don't see that response right there. I'm already like,
If somebody sent me,
self-conscious. Yeah, I'm already like in my mind, like the devil in my mind.
do you just send that out of nowhere?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, in my mind, it means a certain thing.
Hold
It
on.
mean-
Wait, hold on.
Wait, hold up. Because now you're putting me on the spot. But hold up, let me just brace for
I'm
this.
not judging
I
you.
know, but just let me brace for this. Let me
Okay.
prepare for this.
Okay, yeah.
What's
you
your
wanna take a
question?
breath? Okay.
Let me stretch a little.
My question is do you message a woman out of the blue or just a woman that you're talking to just that little celebration emoji? Just that.
Yeah.
What do you think it means when you do that?
It's you could do a movie on. It's like a whole. There's a whole narrative. In my mind, there's a whole narrative behind it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like where it's like romance lane.
Really? And that's the topper?
But I'm just letting you know, like, because I'm trying to think of like justifying. That could be anything. That could be. You know what I mean?
If I okay, so let's say you DM'd me and I opened it up and it was just that little thing, I'd be like, what the fuck
I
is
do it every
this?
day.
Really?
Yeah.
And you think a woman's
Yeah.
gonna respond and be like, oh my god, finally?
The way you're putting me on the spot like that and just, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
In my mind,
She's
it's
like-
like the Notebook Part 2, the Steebee edition, Notebook Part 2, the Steebee edition.
When will he send me? When will my
Yeah,
man
that's like
finally send me
carnations and like that was like my bouquet of roses or something
Really?
in my mind.
No.
But tell me the reality of what that means.
If I opened up a DM,
Nothing.
Literally nothing, I'd be like, what the fuck did he mean to send this?
It means zero.
It means absolutely. I'd be like, is he wasted? Like, I wouldn't know. And not even
I'm
in a
sweating.
flirting
I'm
way.
sweating. I'm sweating just thinking about it.
Just that?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I know. I know. Good question.
It would make more sense if you did the eggplant emoji, because then it would be like, oh, he's trying to fuck. But if you just sent that, I'd be like, okay.
You know what it is? It's cowardice. There's several
Maybe.
factors. It's cowardly, because this is what I'm saying. You're right. There's different ways emojis to convey that.
Okay.
The heart, the
Yeah,
heart
the heart
eyes,
eyes.
the eggplant.
Mm-hmm. Even the splishy splash marks.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That would make more sense.
You just go for the
'Cause
party
people
one.
know the meaning of that.
Yeah, they do.
But this is why I do it, I think.
Right.
I'm trying to work it out.
Yeah.
It's not full commitment.
Okay.
It's like if I send this, it means a certain thing to me, but I'm in the clear.
Right, because they don't really.
Yeah, because they could be like, oh, it's just a pause. Because when you say that particular emoji, there's no bad or good.
Right.
It's just there.
It's just kind of like, okay. Well, that's why I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
Do you?
I've done this for like.
Can I ask you this?
Go ahead. Wait, think about it. Think about it. Just.
I thought about it.
Yeah.
Do you get a lot of positive feedback from that? What's your general feedback from sending a?
Just being ignored.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
I've gotten some like, what's the thing when you double tap? That's a heart.
It's a heart. Yeah. It's a
I've
little-
gotten maybe 15-20% of the time.
That means they are just acknowledging you, and
they're
they don't
just
bare
saying,
minimum.
okay, I don't
Yeah.
know what that means, but
Exactly.
right?
Okay.
All right, so I need to
Next.
stop doing that.
Yeah. Yes. If that's yes.
That's embarrassing.
It's just if you want to strike up a conversation, just be like, what's going on?
So let's
Although I
talk
wouldn't
about
respond.
this.
Okay.
Let's say you're attracted to someone on Instagram.
Yeah.
Particularly Instagram.
Yes. And
What
have we
are
met
the-
in real life?
And okay, hold on. No,
Okay,
I'm
okay.
changing it. I'm changing the scenario.
Okay.
You've never met them, but you're following them.
Mm-hmm.
What would be things that are not like sending a random emoji that'd be more better than that?
That are appropriate.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if they post a story and you find something that you think is interesting, you could respond to that. LOL, cool, or oh, looks good. I don't know because I get really.
Oh, so the LOL safe
But I think an LOL is
with the
generally
crying, laughing emoji.
Yeah.
That's safe.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
hold up. You're kind of questioning that.
It's like,
Yeah.
because it's like, how funny is it? You know, it's like, is it really crying emoji funny, or is it just kind of LOL funny? You know what I mean?
You don't want to overuse that one.
You don't want to overuse that, because if a guy did that, well, guys do that to me.
Wait, they send that?
They'll send the crying emoji, and I'm like, okay.
Because in their mind, they're like, oh, she's a comedian. This is
Right.
the appropriate one to send.
Right.
Comedy.
Right.
Right.
But in most cases, I assume that like the average woman is like posting pictures of like lunch or something. You don't want to respond to that being like LOL.
That's not funny.
It's
having
not
lunch.
funny.
Eating?
So, well, but I'm looking for a way in,
Right,
right?
right,
So if
that's
you're
a way
responding
in.
to a story, it's like you have to find something to connect over with that.
So what would be more appropriate than that? Yummy.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. See, I'm horrible at it.
Yummy is so funny, but I feel like most women would be like, "What the fuck?"
Right. It could come
Right.
off as kind of creepy.
Weird. If you were
Weird and creepy.
If I posted my lunch and you were like yummy, I'd be like,
Yummy. What if you add to that? Yummy, yummy, yummy to my tummy.
yeah.
See, you.
Yeah,
That's funny.
I think that's funny. That's pretty funny. Yeah.
What if you say
Yummy, yummy, yummy to my
What-
tummy.
There's
Yeah.
that song. Yummy, yummy, yummy. I got love in my tummy.
You could send them a
and I
voice
don't-"
memo of you doing that.
of that.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's
That's
appropriate.
the way in.
Okay, give me two more. Give me two more appropriate.
Appropriate ones. Okay, so the question is what's the appropriate way to like
Yeah, as far as
DM?
flirtation is involved.
Okay, wait. So are you asking for guys to do it to me?
Or yeah, any female.
Okay. Any female. Fuck.
Like
I
love your hair.
looking good, girl.
Looking good,
But maybe
girl.
not. Also, but maybe not.
Looking good, girl.
Because if because like what is she
Because
posting?
that's wait. You know what I just realized? There's a tonality to that.
Yeah, there sure is.
Because when they send it, they're like, "Looking good, girl." But then the way you interpreted that was, "Looking good, girl."
That's like how a girl would say it to another girl. So if a guy does
So
it-
it's something you would say to another girlfriend.
Yeah.
Your homie.
if I was to DM
Looking
a guy,
good, girl.
Yeah. If
Keep it up.
Yeah. Keep working out, girl. Because if I was like, "Oh, nice work at the gym," it would be different if it was coming from a man.
It would.
Yes.
What would be like, just like, ooh, that's sexy.
I mean, honestly, fuck. I don't know.
Exclamation points?
But no,
No.
definitely
All right,
not
all right.
that.
No, don't do that.
Definitely not that.
Okay.
I respond to men when they say funny things to me. You know, that's the thing. Is you have to find something funny. I mean,
But
yummy,
in
yummy, yummy
their
in my tummy is
mind,
pretty funny.
they're thinking, because I'm going to speak on the behalf of
Please,
men.
yeah.
They're thinking, what's the fastest engagement of way to turn it from, to get a date or to meet with
Right.
this person. Right?
Yeah. And women are pretty, we know that that's what you're doing.
So is it eggplant?
No.
No, so don't do
And
that,
it's also not
guys.
the party emoji, so also don't do that.
All right, all right.
Um,
No celebration party emoji.
I
But
mean,
you can't send a heart,
You can't
'cause
really
that-
send a
that
heart
turns
either.
into
That's
seriousness.
weird. Heart is weird.
right?
I would say not do the fucking emojis. Like, actually say something. Emojis piss me off. Or when people do the swipe up thing and it sends like big 100s.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you fucking saying?
So that's the trick. Don't use any emojis.
Say something funny.
Say something.
Just say something funny.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm just curious. How often do you get DM'd? I mean,
I do get DM'd a lot.
a lot
I do.
from randoms.
Yes.
Have you gotten this? Hey, just saw your show. Like, let's say you had a show in Oceanside.
Yeah.
I was just here and just around the area. Like,
Yeah.
have you gotten ones like that where they're
They're
trying to
like-
locate your location? Like,
No.
hey, I'm just here and I knew you performed here. What's up? I'm trying to play devil's advocate.
Right. I'll get him.
Like that.
Like
Okay, but that's stalking.
a little bit, but also, well, I'll get ones where guys will be like, "Hey, was at your show tonight. Great job.
Good set.
Good set."
That's the thing to send.
But you don't send that to a regular girl,
No, you don't.
right? No, you don't want to.
Oh,
DM
we're
just
talking.
a girl
This is
who-
a specific thing. A female.
a
comic.
female comic, right? Not just a
Yeah.
girl who doesn't do comedy.
So
being
what
like,
could
"Good
they
set."
say? When's your next show?
Yeah,
I'll show up.
you're so funny. Love your stuff. That's that. Yeah, when's your next show? I'll show up. That
That's
always
not-
kind of pisses me off.
Okay.
I got one the other night that was like, "Hey, was at your show tonight?" Oh God, I like talked to him after the show, and he was like, "Beautiful on stage and beautiful online and beautiful in real life. Wow, would ask you out if I could." And I was like,
Well, why don't see? That's that non-commitment thing.
yeah
Feeler. It's like
And
that's
I-
not
yeah
fully putting your foot down. Will you go on a date?
right. And
You would
even if
expect
he-
that more, because at least then you'll be yes or no.
Yeah, and I would have said no, for sure. But it was. I'll say no to anybody right now. I don't care.
Yeah.
Big no.
Does this even exist now? Okay, they do. Time flew by here.
It sure did.
Are we in the age where no one even approaches people like in real life?
That's a good question.
Is it like all Tinder and Instagram? Is it
I think mostly
or
now.
Match.com? Is it that's what it is?
Mostly, my last boyfriend I met in real life.
See, that's
Um,
cool.
Our friends set us up.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
but most people, I mean, yeah, nobody approaches people anymore in real life. I would prefer to be approached in real life, but I'm also not on apps.
But there's a respect level in that because it shows chivalry. Like, oh, this guy
Yeah.
actually walked up to me,
Yeah.
and he has the guts to take a yes or a no.
You know, that happened to me a few months ago. I was in a parking lot at
Oh,
Lassen's.
Wait a minute, just hold up.
Yeah.
I don't care. In a parking
I was in a
lot?
parking lot. Well, I was
See,
good at-
that's scary.
Well, it wasn't
You're
scary.
in a
It was a very.
That's scary. You're like, I was in a parking lot. It was
It
dark.
was night.
I
yeah.
couldn't see anything.
Couldn't see anything. It was in the daylight, and he was like sitting in the car next to me, and he
Wait,
he came up to me, and he was like, he came out of his car, and he's like, "Hey," and I was like, "Hey," and
it
he
would
was
be
like,
so scary if he like knocked on your window. Hey,
yeah, it
and you're
would've
just
been.
like,
My
that's like
window
a
was
movie.
open. I was listening to music, and he was like, "You seem pretty cool," and I was like, "Okay," and
He
he's like,
said that.
"Yeah."
You seem pretty cool.
Yeah, and he goes, "Could I get your number?" And since I don't know how to say no, I was like, "Yeah, sure." But I
What
had
do he
no
look like?
intention. I don't remember. I had no intention of ever texting him, but I didn't know how to say no at the
Right.
time.
Do females do that just to get past that
All
part?
the time.
Like, okay, it'll just get me
All
out
the
of
time.
it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He'll leave me alone after
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Please,
Yeah.
I'll give him my actual number,
Yeah.
and then he'll leave me alone. They don't.
Yeah.
Don't. Yeah.
Well, I think you're doing the right things. I mean, that's good that you're like your life's just kind of being more positive. You got
Yeah.
clean. You're doing these other things,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I didn't mean to get off topic as far as I want to get because we're at the end here. I
Uh-huh.
wanted to really start plugging like any future comedy show dates, website, social media, and all that.
Website is down right now, but you can follow me on Instagram
Go ahead, say it.
at Gabby Lammy,
Mhm.
GABBYLAMBY, or TikTok at the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And shows coming up. I'm going to be in Austin, Texas
When's
at
that date?
the
I mean, when's the show date for
tw-
Austin?
25th and 26th
Mm-hmm.
at the Sunset Strip Comedy Club in
How do
Austin.
they get tickets?
That's a good question. I don't have a fucking clue, but they can get them. I'm sure you'll be able to get them.
Well, how about this?
Yeah.
When it gets near the date,
Mhm.
it'll be on your Instagram, like a link or a
It will
swipe up or
be.
something, or like a swipe.
There will be. I always post my dates on my story. You can swipe up, find them there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
And
have
then-
some LA dates. Don't know when, but they're there. They'll be on my Instagram.
Cool. Any merch or anything?
I did have I did have a lot of merch. I'm out right now.
Mhm.
I am also a painter, and I've been selling my paintings. So
Dude, let's start plugging that. How do they get? How does one get one of your paintings?
DM me on Instagram. I post
So
all my
that's what you
paintings
have
on
to
Instagram.
do if you like her painting, because you're painting. You got quite a few pieces.
I
right?
do have a lot of pieces, and you can follow me on Instagram, and I post them there, and you can. That's how I do business
And you'll
right
ship.
now.
You'll ship from your house.
Sure do.
Yeah.
Change
You
my
pay
address,
for shipping,
but
or
they pay for shipping.
so y'all you pay for shipping, but it be delivered right to your door.
Yeah, big time.
And it's original artwork.
Original artwork.
Keep doing that.
Yeah, no, it's great. I'm having
Keep
a great
doing
time doing that.
Maybe a future art show for the future.
Probably. I should.
Why not?
That's how I make my money right now, that and comedy. So
I mean, gotta hustle that.
gotta
Hustle it. Hustle
yeah,
it.
if you want to buy artwork from me.
Yeah.
your guy.
So yeah, hit her Instagram at Gabby Lamb.
Yeah, Gabby Lamb.
Gabby, spell that out.
GABBYLAMBY.
Gabby Lamb B.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Did we cover everything? You think? I mean, we got everything.
For me, but unless
I mean,
you
no. I have some too. I want to make sure.
yeah.
You're
No, I'm
covered.
good. Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah.
All right. That flew by.
Flew by.
I love talking about
A blast.
That. Yeah, the texting game. It's like I'm like horrible.
Yeah.
I should just get off. It's not helping me. Sorry, this is an inside voice. Yeah. So anyway, if you like if you like this platform, I mean, if you like the show, the best way to support it is patreon.com/Steebee Weebee, SteebeeWeebieShow.com. If you want to get any kind of merch, just know that the orders are a little bit delayed because of COVID. New podcast I'm doing with my brother Jeremiah Watkins, Scissor Bros. Go to youtube.com/scissorbros. We post a new video every Friday. Instagram/QUANGOU. All my music is at SteebeeWeebieBandcamp.com. If you want to send anything to the P.O. Box, send all your packages, mail, or whatever to 1425 North Cherokee Avenue, P.O. Box 1391, LA, California 90093. It was awesome having you
Hell
again.
yeah.
Y'all are always welcome.
A
You want to
blast.
do one with both you and...
Oh, that would be fun.
that would be fun, right?
Yeah, it would be. It'd be wild.
Yeah, it'd be wild.
It'd be wild.
I'm also want to start doing this too, where I get more tattoo artists, because you have quite a bit of ink, and
I do.
maybe for part 3 we could do a whole
Would love to.
talk about the tattoo thing.
I got them all during quarantine.
You did?
Yeah. All of them.
Thanks for tuning in.
Hell yeah.
My buddy Skip is a trip, feeling blue like a crib. Framed for robbing a bank, letting loose from the hip. He really couldn't predict this grip was so full of angst. Him and Henry were woodpeckers, did a song and dance at big. Oh, rodeo man in the west, you can. You're the best on the land to bless the sand. Stir the bull with your hand, oh Skip, you can. Get that fucking bull and pull on that rope. Feeling still crazy, maintaining against the grain. Making me wanna get in a plane. The pain inside my brain never ends sustain. I'm down for the count on the ground freight train. Living today, don't give it away. They're preaching the praise, the raise. Shining it down to Matus crowns, the finest of frowns delayed. Skibby's afraid, he feels betrayed. Live this way, can deal with shade. A spade is a spade, he made the greatest blade in a charade of pain. I am not a man, I am an animal, a male. I live by maritime, the law of water, about to sail. Where my mother had me, I slipped out of her canal. What you call a sailing ship is named after a female.